Welcome to Calling Carmita,
And Chris,
where we talk about everything from.
pop culture to politics.
In today's video, we're going to be discussing the new Janet Jackson documentary. Raise your hands if you saw it. Internet high five. Woo! All right. So, Chris, I guess we'll go through likes and dislikes. Do you want to go first?
Sure. What did I like? I thought it was I loved that her brother was there with her, Randy. I love that they went through, they spent a lot of time on Control. I loved, that they touched on the Super Bowl a little bit. And I guess what I didn't love was the weirdly edited shot where at the end of the Super Bowl segment, she was like, oh, it's okay to move on. Me and just are friends. It seemed very tacked on and it almost seemed fake a little bit. But, overall, I thought the message was loud and clear. Oh, I also like the thing she said about, well, I don't have time for hate, but I'm also, it's all love or like, or, something else. She had some kind of saying in there. I like that. But the one thing that Super Bowl part felt kind of like it was, I understand where she's coming from. She's tired of reliving it, but I mean, at this point, face it, it's part of the legacy. And you can't expect people to just get over it just because you got over it, because it affected a lot of people beyond just Janet Jackson.
Okay. So I actually wrote down a short list. So I've got 3 likes and 2 dislikes. So my first like was the realness in the documentary. And by that, I mean, like, the way that Renee videoed everything, even when they were in the studio, even when she was arguing with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and how, like, she would say that same line over and over. And like, when I'm hearing her, the original version of how she was singing Rhythm Nation, I thought, ooh, no. She is saying the same line over and over, and Jimmy Jam and Terry were just kind of like laughing, and she got upset and left. But I like that realness. I mean, it just shows us that, the shit doesn't come out perfect the first time you sing it. It I don't know, we don't know how many times they actually did that until we got the version that we heard on the official record. Like, to me, that's like real. And that shows that, these artists aren't sitting around performing witchcraft, drinking chicken blood to become famous. No, they're putting in actual work. I get so tired of hearing people say, oh, Beyonce used to have practiced witchcraft to become famous. No, they just put in work.
Oh my God, that's
Do we know what that is? It's when you practice over and over and over again, the same shit over and over. And then you have to have somebody who is kind enough to tell you the truth, even if it will hurt your feelings, to help you get past that good enough to great. So I loved the realness of the documentary.
Oh, let me add something to that real quickly before you, on that piece. I did like the realness of the documentary also. And on that particular piece, the sound of the record was actually not good. The vocals and the lyrics didn't match the song, the beat.
No, and he kept telling her, give it some energy. And she kept singing it very monotone, like being shy with it. She was being shy with it.
She was, but she was lifeless because the lyrics didn't match the beat. And when the lyrics don't match the beat, it's hard to be confident about it. So, but carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah. So with like the sing, and like when she was first learning with Paula Abdul, that was so touching, because you have no idea what having a good dance teacher will do for your performance. Like if you have an insecure dance teacher who competes with all of her students or who makes you feel bad, it's going to be hard to grow. But when you have somebody like Paula Abdul who wants you to look good and succeed, like that really can take you to the next level. Like the realness about just the rawness and all of that. So my second like was that there weren't too many details, but that's actually a like and a dislike. But let me go through the like part of the no details. It's like she didn't throw anybody under the bus, even though, you know, some things were done to her. When she talked about her family first moving to California and the neighborhood was racist, like, but it wasn't done in a way to shame anybody, regardless of how they acted then. There was a lot of grace shown, a lot of love and kindness and grace shown from Janet, and these are from her own words. So I also like that. So my third thing that I liked was how the storyline flowed. And I'm thinking of it because, you know, she's Michael Jackson's little sister. So it was hard to really focus on her because part of her trial was like being able to stand on her own outside of his shadow. So that was I like the storyline. I like how they were able to keep it to her, even in those awkward parts where the fans were screaming at her that they love Michael, which is just weird. It's
No,
just,
that's what people would do. Come on. Like
I know, but if I'm
one
a
of us
fan,
would
if I'm at a Janet Jackson concert, you did not see me screaming for Michael. I was screaming when we were at the Janet Jackson concert in 1999. We were screaming for Janet. We were not screaming for Michael.
no, right? That's the most ridiculous thing
That
I've
doesn't make
heard.
any sense. That doesn't make any sense. That's just nonsense.
Yeah, totally.
So, let me cover my two dislikes, and then I'll tell a story about what I learned from watching the Janet Jackson documentary. Okay. So my first dislike was this whole bent towards the drug use and how the people who hurt her the most, as if I'm Janet, no, the people who hurt Janet it had to do with drugs. But then she randomly brings up David Bowie coming to one of their house parties looking for drugs or looking to do drugs. Maybe I misinterpreted that part, but I just thought it was awkward to even bring that up about him, but then gloss over the fact that Michael, granted, he died of cardiac arrest, but it was due to prescription drug overdose. And they just glossed right over it as if it was only because of a heart attack. Like the heart attack came out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
there were a lot of parts like that. There was a lot of that gloss over, which I was like, well, if you're gonna do the be all end all documentary, you might as well go all the way there, like all 8 hours or
Yeah. And
hours.
that was why no details ended up on the dislike column as well as the like column, because some things should have been included. Like, yes, it hurt you that two of your husbands had drug abuse. It hurt you that your brother Michael had drug abuse issues. Don't bring up David Bowie because that's just clean out in left field. Like if y'all have some other weird beef, don't put that in your documentary. Just leave David Bowie and whatever he's doing out of it.
Well,
Like,
but I mean,
but did he die of a drug overdose? The man was in his 70s or something, wasn't he? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was
Anyway,
like in his 50s or 60s, maybe. Um, you know, yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, it's still
So
weird bringing, yeah. But so only two dislikes. For the most part, I really liked it. I think Janet is really sweet. I think her personality, like she said, is very innocent and open, which kind of makes her vulnerable to, you know, people trying to take advantage of her. So I can see that. And I'm glad that she can see it now too. Um, and I think what resonated with me the most was how she talked about her father. Like he was kind of a controversial figure in all of their lives because he was so hard on them or whatever. But she was just so thankful that he pushed them in a way that made them go beyond what other people would have given up after. Um, and I kind of like that. I like that. Like, I know she broke away from him and she established herself, but she was still really thankful for the drive that he instilled in them to pursue, even after they broke it off. I really, yeah, I really like that.
I liked her work ethic, I think.
I
And
can relate to her sibling rivalry because I always remember being Chris's little sister, and I just didn't like that. I wanted to be Carmita. I wanted to have my own name and not Chris's little sister. Like, people would only talk to me or be nice to me because I was Chris's little sister, not because they actually liked me. So I could relate to her, how the sibling, but then they tried to pit them against each other. And that happens
that was
in those.
impossible. They tried to do that a little bit, but it was just impossible because, I mean, they were just, you know,
Yeah,
in-
but why were they shooting separately? He wouldn't let her see his part of the shoot when they were shooting the Scream video. I didn't know it was that divisive.
Michael, but Michael's very, he's very particular about how he likes to do things. Sometimes you just go,
No, if somebody is there to support you when you're going through some shit, you don't start pulling weird.
but if you're being the supportive person, you just
Yeah, she let
nod
it
your
go.
head and let it go.
Yeah,
She did the
yeah,
right thing.
she did the right thing.
Yeah, it's easy to get in your feelings. And even, me, when I'm trying to be supportive, it's easy to get in your feelings about, oh, they didn't do what I wanted them to do.
Well, no, I don't think she did that. I think she was still a little hurt by it because she felt like she would be a little bit closer to him in that moment. And it was hard for him to be close to her for whatever reason. I don't know.
Maybe he felt bad about being in the situation. You never know.
Probably. That makes you not want to.
It makes you not trust anybody.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
people you thought you trusted are now like telling lies about you.
And
Then
especially the way, like, if the media is spinning drama between brother and sister, it can be hard to filter out all the BS, probably,
right, and it's like putting his career down a little bit and
to
then
boost hers.
right but she was already boosted. That's the thing. By the time the media
Yeah.
started trying to like
Pit them against each other. Like with that Coca-Cola thing, I was like, that's not going to be a good look. I'm glad that didn't work out because I don't think that would have been.
I don't well, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, I mean, you're siblings, so I guess on some level you're gonna be a little bit compared. But I mean, he's a man and she's a woman,
Woman. Yep.
and people say, oh, well, they're the same. But back then, and in a lot of people's eyes, it's different.
Totally different.
And Michael had been in the business for a considerably longer period of time.
Yep. Way more music. Yeah.
Right. So it's almost not even, they're not even in the same stage of their careers. So it's not really, I mean, which is why when the media tried to pit them against each other, it didn't really work because they're like at two very different stages in their career. So when Michael he was popular when he was 5. She didn't become popular until like several decades after that, like until she was like almost 20 years old. Like, so like, she mostly handled it well. The media, I felt like probably, in general, towards the end of her career, I feel like she kind of just was like, okay, there's no pleasing.
Enough's enough. I was glad when she got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because that would have been such a shame for her not to be there.
She should have been there before, but the Super Bowl kind of, and the problem is you can't get all 15 of those years back from like I remember being on like message boards and whatever social media was back then, and really everybody was just nitpicking her to death every.
And I kind of missed that, but I think it was because I was in a weird stage with having just had Gabriel and I was in college, so I didn't even actually watch that Super Bowl. I missed the whole hoopla. And then I just felt like, well, she just disappeared. Where'd she go?
Yeah, the right wing people, they, because George Bush and all that, they want to be, fake Christian or whatever, while they
No, it's so fake.
a good story to take everybody's attention off of them murdering people in Iraq. And
Well, but then it also was driving home the point that, Black women aren't supposed to be attractive or seductive or whatever. Here you have, Britney Spears and Madonna tonguing at the MTV Music Awards, but that's supposed to be a family friendly event. I mean,
literal kids are watching it like 16.
yeah, yeah.
Football is like people getting drunk,
And
adults
all these,
drunk,
yeah, all these misogynistic
getting
ads, with
against this
nonsense
woman,
going on. Yeah. So they're so
white
full
women.
of it.
But the
Yeah.
Black woman, if she has a mishap
We're not supposed to be the love interest.
at the tail end of and Janet always ended up being the one, kind of the one that ended up with, with the guy, like
Egg on her face. Yeah.
for all of the 90s, she was like the girl.
Yeah. She
And
was the
everybody,
it girl.
right. And even up until 2004, she was still the it girl. And after that, even people like 50 Cent, people as sleazy and slimeball, I know he's not that way now, but back then he was. And even he was like, oh, Janet Jackson's nasty. Like, and I was so offended when he said that. Like I was like, really? Like, and then there was this whole thing, I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was this whole thing where people like Bill O'Reilly and some of the people in the right wing were trying to push up Beyonce, to kind of take shots at Janet Jackson.
Yeah, that's when they
Like,
start pitting
oh,
Black women
she's lighter
against each other.
skinned and she's lighter skinned and and so she can sing better in his opinion, whatever. And so but then that was when Black men were more open about the fact that they prefer, like, light, bright, barely Black women.
Yeah, but now they don't go for that at all. They only go for non Black women, a lot of them.
Yeah, and so there was some of that going on. There was very much a colorism aspect to
pitting, yeah, Beyonce versus Janet.
yeah, and I don't feel like, in my opinion, I'm gonna say this and people can hate, but I love Beyonce too, so it's not about that. I'm just stating facts. I don't think she understood the role she played in the cup, unwittingly played, meaning it's not her fault, how white people were using her as a way to stick it to Janet, who was the remaining star of the Jackson family, once Michael kind of, disappeared for a while.
Yeah, well, and the fact that Janet was still around, in 2004, when a lot of our favorite artists, Black female artists, were literally being just knocked off. Jody Watley's and Totals and SWVs, those people disappeared. Yeah, Tony Braxton, all those Black artists disappeared, and Janet was still on the scene.
Whitney Houston had a drug problem. Tony Braxton, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, I guess
TLC wasn't around really. They kind of
well, remember, didn't one of them die?
Yeah, but that was way after. That was after.
When
that was Left Eye.
Was that after 2004? I thought that was before.
We'll have to look it up. Maybe you can insert a little dialogue box.
I'll do that in the next one. But the point is,
the Janet documentary was good, my opinion.
Yeah, it was really good. It made me miss her so much, as her music and all that, because it's my favorite. And Jimmy Jam and the whole, like, Janet fam. Like, yeah, So, and yeah, I mean, overall, it was really well done for what it was. And I feel like they could have like, oh, if this is gonna be the be all end all, and you dug up Renee's old footage, it's clear he deserved, probably he deserved every bit of whatever settlement they came to when they divorced. Um,
He put in a lot of work. I mean, he helped mold in her image in a way that would be marketable at the time. And he pulled her out of being like kind of typecast, because you could see her character evolve. And that's actually very good for an artist, instead of being stuck doing the same
yeah,
style all the time. And I like that she was able to be softer and more feminine, because a lot of the 80s and 90s artists for Black women, they were kind of harsh. I felt like Salt and Pepper and like those types were kind of the more harder, and whereas Janet was a more softer, I
yeah,
guess. Not that there's anything wrong with either one. Like, I love all of them, but I just like having a variety of styles.
right, yeah. She fit a, you know,
Yeah.
she
Well,
fit
because
the spot
the
very much.
softness, yeah, because Black women, we tend to be masculinized more than other races. So I like that softness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because she's naturally like very like sweet and soft spoken. I always felt like she was like the auntie type, the like cool aunt type. Um, that's how I've always felt about her. And then like she's almost like a little sister of sorts as well. I liked her because she reminds me of you. Uh, Granted, I'm not Michael Jackson. I don't have any kids sleeping in my bed at night.
Hell no.
Yeah, I like guys older than me, or around my age. Um, like,
So are we gonna do our Rhythm Nation?
oh God, I don't know how to do this.
5,
Four,
4,
three,
3,
two,
2, 1. We did it. And
five,
then high five.
3, 2, 1.
Boom, boom,
We still know all the dances to Rhythm
yeah.
Nation. Or the if dance. Yes. Oh, your outfit is very something Janet is very Janet to me.
Yes, it's very appropriate. An inspired outfit.
And
Yeah.
the Super Bowl where where he ripped off her boob, the Super Bowl, that happened on my 25th birthday.
Birthday.
Holy moly. And I was so sad, like, because it was like everything I ever wanted from Janet to come true on that day. And then it was kind of ruined by all the Super Bowl controversy. I never really got over that.
Wow.
So there you go. I said.
All right. So is that it? Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
Wow.
All right. Let's make it a great day.
Bye.
Bye.